I've been beat up my whole life, but I always come out on top. I'm a two-time UFC champion, and you may hate that. Hate the money, the power, the girls. Hate my right hand. You know what I hate? I hate to lose.
SureDog.com here with UFC announcer extraordinaire, Joe Rogan. Joe, talk about how the sport has just been blown up. You've got your TV show on Spike now. Sport seems like the ceiling is just limitless.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's real crazy. I started out working for the UFC. I was doing post-fight interviews way back in 1996. And back then, we used to think, man, wouldn't it be great if this sport was huge? Like, we enjoyed it so much. And the sport, I mean, quite honestly, the talent level, the technique level just wasn't nearly as high back then as it is now. And even back then, we were saying, this is such an exciting sport. Wouldn't it be great if this sport became this big, gigantic, mainstream thing? And we always said, you know what it needs, man? Some crazy billionaires who love the sport to come along and dump a bunch of money in it. But it was just a bullshit dream, and we never really thought it was actually going to happen. And now that it actually happened, and then I'm actually a commentator for them, it's all very bizarre, you know, and it's pretty surreal, but it's exciting, and it's fun to watch. Now
you get a lot of back and forth between the fans, some good, some bad, but your passion obviously shows through. What is it that gets you coming back for this? Because I don't think you're making a ton of money from this. You know, it's because of love of the sport, right?
I didn't make any money for well, in '96 I made some money. I mean, I made a little bit. They used to pay me like $1,500 to interview each show, but I make a lot of money now, honestly. Somewhere along the line it changed. When I first started doing the UFC, the new UFC under Zuffa, I was doing it for free because I was on Fear Factor, and Dana White used to hook me up with free tickets, and I was sitting like cage side, like right there, and we would go out to dinner, and Dana and I became friends, and I would just start talking about the UFC and start going off, and then he just goes, "We do commentary for me? Do commentary once?" And I said, "I'll do it once. I'll do it once." And then after I did it once, he kept asking me to do it again, and I did like 3 or 4 of them, and then he offered me a contract, and then I actually started getting paid to do it. But I only did it because he was a friend, you know. And I was like, I don't want to work, man. I just want to go watch the fights and swear and scream and get drunk like everybody else, you know.
Now you alluded to it earlier. The level of competitor is day and night from back then. Where do you see it going in the future?
Well, you know what we're going to see in the future is we're going to see kids that are starting out from the time they're young, learning mixed martial arts instead of being wrestlers for 20 years, then looking for some sort of a professional outlet. We're going to see, you know, guys who are learning all 3 things. They're learning wrestling, striking, and jiu-jitsu. They're learning it all, you know, at a real early age. And so we're going to just, man, 10 years from now, you're going to see some savages. You know, it's going to be insane. And we're seeing it now. I mean, we're seeing so many great guys now that you never saw fight in the UFC, like Frankie Edgar's, that guy that fought tonight. I mean, come on, man. That dude's a bad motherfucker. And his first fight in the UFC, and he's just sick.
Yeah, talk about that fight. I mean, let's get into that fight. That was unbelievable. I don't know if it got on TV eventually, but okay, good, because that was the fight of the night by far.
Yeah, we played that after the main event, and I mean, come on, man, that was just such an exciting fight. Just a perfect example of a fan's fight. I mean, people who really appreciate the sport and know what's going on. I mean, you see all the technique that's being displayed, the beautiful transitions between the striking and the grappling. I mean, those guys were top-notch. You know, Tyson Griffin's no joke, and to beat that guy and to beat him decisively like Frankie Edgar's did, I mean, that was awesome. Awesome fight.
How about the big debut of Cro Cop tonight? I think it was a little bit anticlimactic, but
I would call it a medium debut of Cro Cop tonight. You know, I mean, the whole idea was that he was being set up, you know, with an easy fight, a soft touch, and that sort of never really works right. You know, because first of all, the fighter doesn't get up for it, and then you know you're watching it, you're not, you know, when you watch a fight like you watch, if we're watching like, you know, Chuck versus Vanderlei or something like that, I'd be like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? This is more like, oh shit, when's this guy going to the hospital? Oh shit, when's he getting kicked in the head? You know, and to Eddie Sanchez's credit, he stepped in there, and you know, he stepped up against, you know, the scariest striker in all the heavyweight division, and he hung in there, and he made it to the last minute of the first round, and you know, he didn't go to the hospital, and he's gonna party tonight, and he's gonna be all right. But it's unfortunate that fight, you know, that's how they decided to play it out. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, you know, when you're seeing a fight that's just exciting, you get all amped up. Tonight, you know, it was just like whatever. And I think the fighters feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, what if they put Cro Cop versus Orlovsky? You know, that'd be crazy, man. Tell you what, Arlovsky's got a vicious fucking lightning bolt of a right hand, and Cro Cop's got a chin that's not the best in the world. You know, I mean, anything can happen.
What do you see in a Tim Cro Cop matchup? That's the big marquee heavyweight fight coming up.
You know what that is, but you know, first Tim's got to get by Randy, and that's such an odd fight, man. I don't know how I even feel about that. I go back and forth. I mean, I love Randy Couture. I'm a huge Randy Couture fan, but Randy Couture retired from heavyweight because he was having a problem with big guys. So what does he do? Takes on the biggest lion in the pride. I mean, I think Tim Sylvia is the most underrated, underappreciated fighter in all of mixed martial arts. I think that dude's a bad motherfucker. If you look at his record, knocked out Rico Rodriguez, you know, knocked out Trey Telligman with a head kick. I mean, he's no joke. Knocked out Andrei Arlovsky, beat him twice. I mean, Tim Sylvia is a dangerous dude. He just looks like a regular guy.
And he says things that don't help out his cause. I mean, he's a great guy when you get to know him. Not everyone gets to know him, though, and I think that's where draw the line.
Yeah, I know him well, and he's a great guy. He's a smart guy. He's a cool dude. He's fun to hang out with. He's got a great sense of humor. He just, for whatever reason, he comes off funny, and he likes to wear his belt everywhere, which I think is hilarious.
Oh,
you know?
He says it's a joke. He loves it. He loves the attention.
Well, when I had him on Inside the UFC, I asked him to bring the belt in. He came on. I asked him to come on Inside the UFC out of respect, because I respect the guy, because I feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. But I think he will after the Randy fight.
Yeah, I saw him wearing his belt when I was in Iowa at a strip club. So there you go. That guy, it is a joke for him.
I'll tell you what, man, watching Cro Cop tonight, you know, I mean, Cro Cop was good and he's impressive, but I could see Tim Sylvia hanging in there with Cro Cop. And Cro Cop, it just, like we said, does not have the best chin in the world. And Tim Sylvia's got a piston for a right hand. You know, if he lands that, Cro Cop could be in some deep trouble. That could be an exciting fight, man.
What's the big news for UFC in 2007?
There's a lot of big news. Unfortunately, I can't tell you shit. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, they're actively trying to acquire Pride. This is the thing with the Japanese, though, and this is the thing that I can tell you. Japanese have a very weird way of doing business, and one of the things that they like to do is they like to pretend that they're gonna have a sale. They're gonna pretend they're gonna sell it, and what that does, that generates a lot of interest. And when that generates a lot of interest, then they say, "No, we no sell."
Kind of like Vanderlei Silva walking into the ring to fight Chuck Liddell.
Exactly. They basically punked the UFC. You know, they made Vanderlei wear his Pride shirt. It was a gigantic Pride advertisement.
It was.
Yeah, and it was a successful one. It was a smart one. I mean, they're very clever and crafty in their strategy as far as business goes. But losing Fuji TV, as far as I know, I mean, I'm just talking shit. I don't know.
No, that's the big deal. That is the big deal.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't understand how you can go from selling out 90,000-seat arenas to not being popular. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, they're still popular. They just can't have a TV deal, and they lost all that money.
But why can't they get a new TV deal? I don't understand why someone's not willing to step up. Is it because their connection to the Lose the Finger organization?
Possibly.
Rhymes with Makuza. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the whole thing is very, very weird. I don't understand how the Japanese system works, but as a fan, I'm very happy that there's competition around, and I would like to see the K1 MMA organization grow larger. I would like to see the IFL grow larger. I would like to see the Showtime thing take off. You know, everybody like comes to me like, "Oh, Showtime's gonna have fights now. What's up, man?" Like, good. I want to watch fights. You know, dude, I'm coming here to see Pride. I've been planning out for weeks to come to the 24th. I'm gonna be there. I might work for the UFC, but I'm a fan of mixed martial arts. That comes first. That's what I am. And I want all these organizations to do well, and that's the only way that these fighters are going to get paid what they deserve. That's the only way these guys who are putting their health on the line are going to be able to retire and have enough money in the bank so that they don't have to come back when they're Randy Couture's age, you know? And but in Randy Couture's defense, he does that because he wants to. I mean, he's just crazy.
For sure, he is a legend. Joe, thanks for taking the time with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.